What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Johnson back again. Um, what's so funny to me? A lot of people that I used to sit around and talk about freedom and, independency and things of that nature. Um, I found that they weren't really serious about freeing themselves. And it's oftentimes funny to me when I think about it how the black slaves of the 17 and 1800s um, would never want to leave the plantation. They didn't want to leave master. The problem was is that they had what you call Stockholm syndrome. That's when the captor has so much of an influence and so much um, rulership over the slave that the slave didn't want to leave, and also the slave would have sympathy on the master, but also admired the master and didn't want to leave the master. And in the event of all of that, would kill for the master and would tell on other slaves if they tried to run away. Well, in modern America, I see a whole bunch of that going on today because a lot of people around the world, especially Western world countries, do not want to free themselves from master. They do not want to get away from the plantation. They get taxed to death. They get taxed on almost everything. They get brutalized by the master's captors or the guys that would go. What did they call the people who would go around and catch runaway slaves? Uh, I can't remember right now, but the police act in that same manner because they used to be that before they were called police. And it's oftentimes funny how the people that are put into office by the subjects would turn right back around and tax them to death, would turn back around and make laws that make them uh, even more of a slave. And what's so crazy is that when you look at many of the laws today, they are not to your benefit. And a lot of the rulers or masters know this. And so I see a lot of people challenge me when I step up to say, hey, free yourselves, become independent. Don't depend on these people. Don't listen to these people because they're keeping you enslaved. They throw you in jail, the very jails that you pay for out of your taxes. They control the buildings, the very ones that you pay for, and tell you what you can do in those buildings, tell you what you can't do in those buildings. And then people sit around and say, our leaders, our leaders, our leaders, you know, uh, you know, it's crazy. They're not your leaders. They are your rulers. And I don't see how people do not see these things. I don't understand why people can't see it. They steal from you. They do you dirty. They do your kids dirty. They're going to do your grandchildren and great grandchildren dirty as they begin to grow into adults. I put out all kinds of material, and very few people understand those materials or contents. They understand what I'm saying because they can see it too. We live in a world where most people are blind. And it's been like that for thousands of years since the human race came upon the earth. There have always been people who have taken advantage of other people. And they always in the minority, the people that rule over the mass majority of people on this planet. called Earth. Now we at a tipping point that we're not going to be able to stop if we don't start now thinking of ways in which we can get ourselves away from under all of this. There's not much time left. They're trying to roll out CBDCs, digital currency. They will watch every purchase. You won't be able to get away from taxes in any way. And if you act up, they'll take your money away because it's digital. You won't be able to hide your money. You won't be able to do anything. You will be trapped if you don't find ways in which to battle the system or get off grid. And most people don't want to get off grid. The grid is the plantation. Technology. As AI begins to grow, technology begins to grow, more people would be thrown out of work. Karl Marx was right about this in his Communist Manifesto. And as much as I hate Karl Marx, he was right about one thing. Well, actually a few things, but one of the things he was right about, as technology grows, more people will be thrown out of work. And the reason why this is because AI will take over. Right now, you can see that they have automation systems at Walmart, at Kroger's, in different places called self-checkouts. Those are people's jobs gone because now there's automation and AI. And as AI and technology grows, they'll take over your jobs. It'll throw people out of work. And as people cannot pay for things, it will basically crash the economy even more so because people won't be able to afford products coming out, items. They won't be able to afford certain commodities. And that's what I agree with when it comes to Karl Marx. Capitalism is a good system, but it's a system that will crash because it depends upon the exploitation of other people. It depends upon people buying and selling. But the sellers won't be able to sell if the buyers can't buy because they won't have any money to buy because they'll be out of work. Now they have what they call universal basic income that they're trying to come up with. They tried it during COVID by giving out money, but it basically caused inflation because there was too much money in circulation. And there is still too much money in circulation. So the feds have to battle it by raising interest rates. How is that working out? Well, you get it. Get what I'm saying. The problem is that universal basic income will be controlled by government, and government will control you, the receiver of the basic income. So eventually it will all crash, as it always does when empires start implementing senseless and idiotic ideals into society and the economy. So I tell you all today, if you don't become more independent, you don't start growing intellectually, you will be destroyed. You will be destroyed because that's how it always goes. And the working man, the average Joe, the average woman won't be able to withstand it. Now what's going on, you won't be able to really stop it, but you can slow it down. You can slow it down, but if you go into numbers, if you unite into large numbers, you will be able to stop what's going on, but you have to understand what's going on. And uh, it gets frustrating because when you can see things, you can see them, and it's frustrating when so many other people can't. It's like when I would watch certain movies like Left Behind, those Christian movies, where a lot of people couldn't see the Antichrist for who the Antichrist was, but only a few people could. That's how it is right now. Only so few people can see. Those people are called the chosen ones. The chosen ones, because they can see. It's like being at a city council meeting and the city councilmen are implementing stupid ideals and people are clapping. But there's one person in the crowd that said, hold on, this doesn't make any sense. These people are lying to you. And then the mob or the crowd who believes in these people will jump on this one person for telling the truth. You have to be able to see, you have to have the gift of discernment. You understand what I'm saying? The gift of discernment. You have to pay attention, you have to focus, you have to think outside the box when it comes to the elite class, the ruling class rich. So I don't know what else to tell you. You're grown adults, you should know what to do. If you really want freedom, you will do something. If you really care about your kids, you will do something. But if you don't, you won't do anything. All right? May God bless you. I'm out.